How are you?
Doing good,
Can
Sandile. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
How are
I'm
you?
good. Yeah, I'm well.
How's
Uh,
the snow?
yeah, it's beautiful out there, but it's
Is it?
pretty freezing.
I can
It
imagine.
is freezing. It's freezing. Like I've been in house all day. I just took a walk to just take some few videos and photos, and then came back to the house. No dinner dates tonight. No, no.
Does it make you miss home?
I've been here for such a long time to miss home, so this is my home too now.
Wow.
It's home for me. So
Snow and all.
yeah, like I will miss home, yes, but I'm fine with it now. I'm okay.
Well, I guess since we've started there, with you being in London, I guess we can somehow just start the conversation from there. I know you are working on the Lion King production right now. So how long
Yeah.
have you been that side for this specific
Ooh.
production?
So I've actually um before London, I did Australia. So I was in Australia from 2013 to 2016.
Oh, okay.
um Early 2016, and then March 2016 I moved here to London, March 2016. So it's been
It's
it's
been
been
a
a
while.
while. That's why it's a
I
home
I
for me,
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, 2016 March I've been here.
So you started
Yeah.
with the production in Australia.
Yeah, so the Australian production, it was just a an Australian tour. So we did Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Perth, and then moved here, here is just a sit-in production. I'm in West End, the sit-in production. Yeah.
And how's the production like? Do they change the cast continuously, or do they maintain the same cast?
Yeah, so the cast changes every year. Um, it's so weird because we're going into that
Season.
we're going into that season now, like the cast change season. It's pretty intense because there needs to be rehearsals in the morning, show in the evening. So
Yeah.
it's a pretty schedule. Yeah.
And if I'm correct, you're working with K2 that side, right?
Yes. Yeah. Gitu. Yes. I'm with Gitu. I work with Gitu.
That
Yeah.
is, I guess it pretty much feels like you still have people from SA, but yet you're in foreign land.
Yes, there's like 11 of South Africans in the
Wow.
production, so there's quite a lot of us, and if you don't know this, there's a lot of South Africans in London, so so it's pretty much at home. Like last night, I was turning up with some South Africans, so
Really?
it's like it's home. Yeah, it's home. There's a lot of us here. There's a lot of us here who South Africans were really, really doing well for themselves, and it's amazing. It's really amazing.
I love it. I know there's the Strictly Come Dancing that side, and they have about
Yes,
three.
Johannes.
Is what is it? Is it Mozi and her sister, and also one of the dancers,
Yeah, Johannes Gade.
Johannes. There you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a very good friend of mine. I know
Is
him
he?
really well. Yeah, yeah.
You should give him a big hug for me. I'm really impressed by
Will
the work our people are doing that side. Really.
I will. I will. He's doing really, 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 really well. He's a superstar here. Everybody loves
Is he?
him.
He looks like a superstar. Also, he just has that
Exactly.
aura.
Exactly.
But just tell me a bit about the production now that you've been doing it for about 9 years.
Yeah.
Does it become more sentimental for you as time goes?
Oh yes. It is such a it's one of Disney's biggest productions
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
One of the few long running productions, like Broadway in New York, they were just celebrating their 25th anniversary,
Wow.
and we are on 23rd anniversary. So it's been here for 23 years, and it's such an intense, beautiful story,
Yeah,
family orientated story that can be watched by anybody from anywhere and whatever age, because it speaks to everyone. It speaks about the family values. It speaks about being lost and finding yourself. It speaks culture and the community, you know. Um, and the thing is, I feel like people like us, like South Africans, can really relate to it more because of the history of our country, the whole segregation, you know. So the scar in the production, who is a, like, we can call him our previous government, you know, the white government who was oppressing people, and you know, so there's that element in the show where you you can relate as a South African. You can relate as anybody actually who has been in a situation of segregation or separation, or you know, um, sexism, racism. You know, you can relate to that, because at the end there's a light, and there's a brighter story, you know, at the end of the production. So yeah, it's beautiful, man. You like, I never get this. A lot of people ask me like, how are you still doing it? And I'm like, I get tired of it, because it becomes fresh every day. um yes, we get tired, and that's the truth, but it's a beautiful production, especially working with beautiful people, extremely talented people from all over the world. It's just, yeah, it's everything. It's
And I can
everything.
imagine also, in as much as the same production, but also the audiences change, meaning the energy in the room changes every single time.
Exactly. And the strangest thing about it is us having to really get into our minds that there's 2,500 people who come
Wow.
every night, 8 shows
Yeah.
a week. Where do those come from? You know, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's such a life-changing experience to be part of it and see people every night crying, weeping, smiling, enjoying themselves. It's, you know, I always say to myself, when people say, what are you doing to change the world? I always lift my hand up and say, I am doing a little bit,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. Because we do. Because we do.
And you speak on the intensity of it, but just tell me on a personal level, how intense does it get for you? Because I imagine you also do some pre-prep before you get there.
Mhm.
So how intense does that get for you, away from the production? How intense is your?
Oh my God. So on a regular day, like, for instance, I'll talk about tomorrow. Like, tomorrow we have an evening show that starts at 7:30, but call time is 6 p.m. and then 6:15 vocal warm up, 6:15 to 6:30, and then you use that whole other like 45 minutes to get ready, do makeup, do stretch, um, do another vocal exercise. You know, like, I use, for instance, personally, I make sure I go to gym and do cardio before the show. It just helps my mind and my
Yeah.
body to function well in a, yeah, because in a, and I won't lie, it's a heavy show. It's a hard show, physically and vocally. It's really hard. So you kind of have to be ready vocally, physically, and mentally, because there's a lot happening. You know, there's a lot of singing happening, and, and Lion King songs are actually like really uh, tuned high. You know,
Yeah.
so most of our singing like the B flats and the C's and the G's, and you know, so it's pretty high as a tenor singer too. So it's pretty intense. You know, you kind of, there's a lot of self-care that you need to do before and after the show, you know. So yeah.
Just to bring it a bit back home, I think of a Sophia Town era and perhaps an era before democracy, and I think of how theatrical you can sometimes imagine the scenes were. You always
Mhm,
seem to associate a certain era with people going out to shows and being able to watch stories being told and being able to relate to them. But then you look at
mhm,
the current scene right now, and honestly, I don't think there's even a theater cult. I know we do have theaters. I mean, the market theater has been running for so long. We have the state theater
yeah.
and so forth, and they really try. honestly, I think from the theatre side, they try. But
Yeah.
I don't think our audiences are adopting that culture. Do you think of that, and do you perhaps have questions or answers onto why that may be?
You know what? As for instance, the first time I saw the production, I saw it in 2006 in Monte Cassino. That's the reason why they built that theater for to host Lion, because it's that big. It can't go to any small theater because there's a lot happening. And even with that, it didn't stay for long because people were just not going to the thing. And this is a kind of like a sad thing, because culturally in South Africa, we are not musical theater people. We're not theater. Let me phrase this right. We're not theater goers. Yes. There's a whole lot of theater artists, musical theater artists at home. Look at us. We are all over the world, But when it comes to attendance, it's really a struggle, There's places like Market Theatre, like beautiful theatre. They can't host long-running shows because people are not going to go. And the reality about this is, which people don't really want to talk about, and I'm very straightforward, and I talk about such things. Theatre is expensive.
Sure.
It is expensive. A theatre ticket can go to can start from 150, like a way back ticket.
Yeah,
that can be 150, And if you want a good view and stuff, your ticket can cost up to 300 or 400, Sure. And if you come 4 friends, all of you have to pop out that 300. Have drinks in between, on interval, and so it's a lot. It's a lot, and people are not willing to do that. People are not willing to pop out that money, but I also believe that it's something that we're working on. There's a lot of I have a lot of friends who are doing productions back at home right now, and I see the attention, and I become proud of my country because things are happening. People are putting up plays and musical theater productions at home, and it's really, 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 really amazing. It's so amazing, And actually, talking about a South African production, there's was it Thursday last week, I went to see a brilliant production called Mandela the Musical. It just opened here in London, and Gregory Maqoma is the main choreographer for the show. It is stunning.
Yeah.
You hear me? It is stunning. It's beautiful. The music is beautiful. The staging is beautiful. It's well attended because the culture here allows people to go to theater. Theaters are packed every day, and that's the thing.
I think that's what it is. It's gonna be hard for us to go to theaters if there's no prior culture of that. It's always hard to start, but I think, like I said, I think the theaters are really trying, and the more of these shows they put out for us, at some point we're just gonna have to meet them halfway and attend the shows. And more especially now you mentioned the Mandela one as well. These are South African stories being told abroad and being consumed abroad. So what's stopping us from consuming our own stories?
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like, then we also have the nerve of being critical about our stories being told abroad. And you're like, no, but you're not doing it. Yeah. You're like, but you're not doing it. That's why the show Mandela, it's being done in London, like right in the center of London, and it gets packed every day since it opened. And you ask yourself, why can't we do it? Why can't we do it? because and you find out that we have a lot to say, South Africans, we have the people in general, we have a lot to say, we have a
We are
lot to
brilliant
criticize,
at doing that.
and we are brilliant at that. We are brilliant at being judgmental, at criticizing things, and we're big on that. It's a sad truth.
And to kind of slightly bring it back to the music, you have a whole cum laude in music.
Yes.
What does that mean? What does that mean, Sandile? Does that mean you are just a crazy, ridiculous, good singer?
No, just means that I studied well. So and I like, so I studied jazz at UCT,
Yeah.
with some incredible, and it was so nice to see, you were talking to Spa. So I did my first year at UCT in 2005, and that has been the greatest years of my life. Starting with the Bokani Dyers,
Wow.
yeah, the Vuyo Sotashe, the Tandi Ntuli, Sisonke Konti, Luanda Gogwana. Listen to me.
Wow.
I studied with the cats.
Yeah.
Okay. The list is long. The list is long. I regard myself very blessed and fortunate to not only admire those people, but to call them friends, because that's who we are. For real. We've been through a lot in university.
You know what's
So
actually
we-
making me happy as you talking. It's the
Mhm.
it's me detaching myself from myself and just trying to, for them and for you guys, actually, for you guys having studied this and now looking at our industry, and you guys are at the forefront of it and you're actually doing what you studied. I can imagine there's a lot of satisfaction that comes with that for you guys.
And listen, this is something, like someone sent me a tweet one time, like a long DM, and said to me, Sandile, I am so blown away by how you cheer and root for your friends. And I'm like, yeah, I root for my friends. Every Bogani Daya gig, I will post it on my social media. Every Tandinto gig, every Sisonke gig, every Titiluzipo gig.
Wow.
Spa, Zoe Langa Mavuso, Ndumiso Manana. All those people, when they post something or release music online, I should be the first person to get it, because I celebrate those people. I celebrate them for real, because they are family to me. It's a family that I chose,
And also because you understand.
Because I understand. I understand. I understand where they come from. I know some of the I've been there in some of their roughest times of their lives. We've went through a phase where we kind of needed validation. we kind of needed to know, are we good? Can people listen to our music? How are we going to fit in the industry? The industry is too packed. Do I have space in the industry? So I've known those people through those times, and for me to see them winning, it means I'm winning.
Wow.
It's a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. We can talk all night about those people, because it's people I love so much.
We do see it. But just to touch a bit on this time at UCT, how important is it for you as a musician to actually go out and study the thing?
Listen, education generally for anything is very, very important. It gives you a stand and a broader platform. It is not just enough to be talented. it's not enough. It's it's definitely not enough. Taking that decision to go and study jazz for me was something where I said I I wanted recognition. I wanted to learn more about this art form for myself first, so that, for myself first. And I wanted to get to a point of, when I'm asked questions about this art form, I can have replies. I can have decent conversations with the people all over the world, because the reality is education everywhere in the world. And when you study, I'll talk about jazz. When you study jazz, when you meet someone from China who studied jazz and we start talking about Coltrane, the conversation is the same. When you start talking about Thelonious Monk, the conversation is the same. And that's the most important thing, is to have a common and mutual ground to talk about these things and understand it, and be able to, to get on stage as a singer, to be able to count in the band the way I want to be able to say, I don't like that key. I want us to do it in F minor because it's comfortable for me, and that's called education. That is called, you get into a platform of not just singing, but you know what you're doing. You know what your starting note is. You know how to end the tune. You know how to improvise on the tune, and those are the things that I feel like, as artists, you need to have a bag full of those things.
Yeah.
You can't go empty-handed. Go with a bag that has skill, range, improv. You're smart. It. And education does that. Education gives you those instruments. It gives you those. And it's so amazing. Like, I look at people like Nomfundo Kalova, Mandi Sikyankis, and it's all those people we were at varsity with.
Yeah.
And you look at them now, you're like, wow, this is because of their talent, yes, but also because of their education.
Yeah.
So it's
and you can pick it up. I mean, you listen to Mandis specifically, his type of music, in as much as it's very on the ground, if that makes sense, on the ground and relatable, but you can hear the technicalities and the compositions behind it. You can tell that this is well thought of. This is education.
Listen, there's an intro, there's a bridge. You hear, you hear those things. You're like, okay.
Just and not just on a song, but the whole composition of an album, you can tell that this is one composition thought of.
Yeah. And one of the things is, I remember when I would go back home and I would do all these gigs at home. And sometimes I don't play with the same band.
Sure.
But guess what? I have charts, I have music written down. So I can book any other pianist, and they can come and play the music the way I want it to sound. And that's the beauty of studying, because my teacher used to say to me, studying music is like learning another language. It's a language between musicians. We can talk about how we want this tune to be, the tempo of this tune to be, how are we going to finish this tune? And everyone can understand, because everything will be written on a piece of paper, but also we will have the understanding of it. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty. That's the beauty.
And where does this start for you, Sandile? I know you have your uncle Lulu, who was a well-established person within the jazz industry at some point. But for you, where does it start from, and why music?
Well, music has always. I don't want to sound cliche, but music has always been around me. From home, like my grandmother, without fail, every night there would be prayer at home, and we would take turns to sing a hymn. Everyone at home, from my mom, who is part of the choir at church. So music has always been there. Praying for food for dinner, there would be a song, before the prayer. So even if I didn't study music or whatever, or did something else, I think I would still sing. I would still be surrounded by music because it has a huge part of in my life. It's what I've known for forever, and I was also glad when I was kind of allowed to do it professionally by my parents. When I took the decision in 2005 and I said, I actually want to study music, and no one was like, oh, it was not a shock at home. It was something that they said, okay, but go for it, let's see. And that's why it's always been music for me, man. It's been music for me like all my life,
And then you move from music to jazz. Where does the jazz come from?
Well, so when I went to varsity, to UCT, that's when I studied jazz. I studied jazz at UCT, my undergrad, 2005, 5, 6, 7, and then took a break in 2008 and came back and did my postgrad 2009 and 10. So still jazz, still trying to find my way around the industry, but I've had the privilege of also working with some beautiful, beautiful people who've always given me a platform, who were never offended or threatened by my gift and talent, because people can be threatened and, by someone else's talent. So, like there's people, I'm gonna mention names because it's people that are so dear to me, like people like Lucian Tiane, Banda, the Luyanda Matopes, Bramakoy Mkhobata, Babtemba Mkize, my wonderful Sis Gloria Bosman, Judith Sepuma, Swazi Dlamini, my mom Sibongile Khumalo. It's just those people who have always said to me, here's the platform, go for it. You deserve to, you deserve to be listened to. Come here, So I'm always grateful to those people. I'll forever be grateful to those people, and I still feel, I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine because then musical theater came in 2013, because I was staying in Joburg at that time, and then musical theater came in 2013, and most of my friends, they were like, "Oh my God, please don't do it. Ooh, what are you doing? This is clear suicide." And I was like, "What are you talking about? It's music. It's still music. I'm still going to be singing." And so it's always been music for me. That's what I'm saying. It's always been music. I still listen to jazz every day. Every time when I am back in South Africa, I make sure that I have a gig or two that I do at home, because it's who I am.
I know there's a period in your life where you were part of the Standard Bank Youth Jazz.
Yes.
So how was that period in your life, and who were you with? Just the thought of that era excites me, actually.
Man, so every year around June, there's a festival called the Grahamstown National Youth Jazz Festival that is sponsored by Standard Bank. It happens in Grahamstown every year, and so students from around South Africa, like from varsities, music students, we kind of audition for this one big band. So there's a Standard Bank Schools National Band, and then the Standard Bank National Youth Jazz Band, which is the adults like us, you know.
Yeah.
Um, it's a really, oh, and every year there's a leader, like a conductor for that particular year, which will either do his or her music or arrangements or whatever. It's her choice to do, or his choice to do whatever we want to do. And in 2010, for the first time, I was part of the youth jazz band, and the conductor there was Professor Mike Campbell. So I was with Gerrit Stradom, is a guitar player from Pretoria. Monique Van Vellig, she plays a flute. And Benjamin Jafta, who was on bass.
Yeah.
Oh my God, who was I with? Listen, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know? And then,
but I'm sure just
we
the
did
experience of it was amazing.
Man, it was amazing. And we did Joy of Jazz. Yeah, we did Joy of Jazz. We had
I think actually it's
Joy
a
of Jazz.
tradition that the youth band does get a slot at Joy of Jazz.
Yeah, it's been that. And then I was in the band twice as a leader, as a singer, actually, as a vocalist. Because even in 2011, again, yeah, I went back and I made it to the band. And the leader this time was Bramakoim Khubata, the wonderful Malume Bramakoim, you know, and it was so amazing to actually sing his songs, you know, learn his music. And it was so, so, so beautiful. And we also did Joy of Jazz again. It was so amazing, you know, so, 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 so amazing. Yeah.
And just tell me, I think you touched a bit on it, but do you feel that when you took your decision in 2013 to go to the theater side of the music, do you feel that that was also you making a decision to not be a recording artist, you know, quote bracket?
You know, I've always, people who know me will tell you this. I've always lived my life on the edge.
Yeah.
Always, ever since I was a kid. I've always been a come on, let's go kind of a person, you know. Always aware of my decisions. I've always been aware of my decisions, but I've always been like, okay, let's go, pack up, let's go, you know.
Yeah.
And having to go to musical theater for me, honestly, it was something where I was like, oh, let me try this. I'll try it for a year and see, you know. And it stole my heart. You know, it stole my heart, and I feel like it's an experience that I had to go through as an artist all round. You know, it's an experience, and I'm learning so much in the musical theater world that I kind of didn't learn from my jazz world, to be honest with you. You know, and one of those things is consistency, because to do a musical theater show 8 times a week exactly the same way, it's kind of not a jazz quality that, you know, because you can change keys in jazz, you can improvise in jazz, you can orchestrate your band in different ways in jazz, but in musical theater, it has to be done like that a week. You stand here and sing the song like that 8 times a week. And that is a skill that you need to learn as a person. You know, it's being consistent and be good at that 8 times a week, you know, and I'm loving that experience. And I've been doing it for 9 years now, but I'm loving that experience all the time. The more I grow older too, you know, because the voice changes, the body changes, you know, but then you also need to also remember to do this way, you know, so you're pushing yourself to limits where your voice says, no, I can't do it today, but you tap into your mind, you know.
And I do know, however, that you have done backing vocals within the jazz world. Actually, let me just say within the music world. One of my favorite
Mhm.
songs, actually, Entleleni by Nomfundo. I actually asked you the other day, and you're like, "Yeah, no,
Oh
I was
yeah.
there." So, so just take me through that a bit. Some of the people you've done backings for, and also just the skill. I think it's often a untold important part of the music we consume. So just tell me a bit about singing backing.
Well, um, you know, I am one person who kind of who doesn't have a big backing singing experience.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do a lot of that in the industry, like at home. Um, but recording Nomfundo's first album
Oh,
was a dream, you know. Um, Recording that album with Vuyo Sotashe,
mm,
Spamdlalose,
mm.
myself, Mandis Yankees, and Nomfundo. It was it was everything. It was everything. You hear me? It was everything. It was such a great experience. Firstly, to learn those songs, because we didn't learn those songs in studio, because we were all together at varsity,
Sure.
at UCT. So so Nomfi would always organize like an hour or two in between classes to go down to the piano room and learn our parts before we go to the studio, because
Mm.
we kind of didn't want to waste studio time by learning our parts in studio.
Yes, yeah.
you know so they paid um for a 2-hour session, so we had to do those songs in 2 hours.
Wow.
Which was which was great. um and the thing is, and then so I did it with Nomfi, and I did a tour with Mams Bongile in 2012 as one of the backing singing. And that is something that every time I do it, I have to tap into a mind of knowing that I'm accompanying this lead person, because it is about that.
Mm.
It's the main goal for us, and the main purpose for us to be here is for this lead person to sound great. We're supporting this lead person, you know, and that's the most important thing. And it's something that I feel like every background singer should get into, because it's a skill on its own, which I don't lift my hand up high and say I'm a good BV, because I'm not. you
Yeah.
know honestly, I'm really not. I like to be in the forefront. Like, I like to lead, I like to to take charge. And people who do backing singing and they do it well, I really have so much respect for them, because it's a skill on its own. It's like you have to stay in the pocket. Whether you feel like screaming in the middle of a song, no, you stay. It's being aware all the time. You kind of have to
Yeah.
be sober minded,
And
you know.
you can't out improvise the lead singer.
No, no, that's not your job.
Yeah. And just to touch briefly on Sandile. I mean, I follow you on social media, and wow, there is the fashion, there is the music. So
Oh,
I just really want to understand uh, where does the personality stem from? Also, how does the personality stem into the work you do?
well, what you see on social media, it's me. Um, I think it would be really hard for me to portray something or someone else on social media and be someone else. Or, I think it would be a hard thing. And for me, I think I actually know. I come from a beautiful family, grounded family, Christian family, the family that loves God, the family that really is all about love, respect, and kindness. And I carry that with me all the time, wherever I am. And um, I'm also surrounded by man, I am blessed to have so many wonderful friends. I have wonderful friends. I don't think there's anyone in the world who has fabulous friends like I do. You know,
Yeah.
I have the most amazing friends in the world. So I think being surrounded by good family and amazing friends just makes me the kind of person that I am, you know. Um, and of course, I don't put everything on my social media, you know, because someone said to me, "Oh my God, you're always happy on social media. You're always like, you always bring this light on social media." And I said to them, I do go through some rough times,
Yeah.
and I will never post on social media
Yeah.
because I have people around me who tell that I'm going through a rough time. And they will comfort me, they will pray with me, they will give me love, and they will help me out of the issue. And then I'll get back on social media with a smile.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Um, that's what it is, and that's who I am, and that's how I've always tried to live my life and be as transparent as I can be. Like that's me. Is be transparent as like there's people who would walk up to me and say, "Hi Sandile, how are you?" And we would have a full-on conversation, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't know you, go."
But yeah.
Like, because now we are here, so let's go.
Yeah.
and it's like that. It's that's who I am.
And I guess briefly, as we conclude, where do you see? But then I think already you've answered because you said you are very in the moment, let's do it kind of person. But do you see yourself at some point, say, get into a studio and recording? What do you see yourself potentially doing?
Listen, album will come.
Wow.
An album will come. It will come. There's so many people I want to work with,
Yeah.
And in my head, I want to have a duo album with Mogani Daya on keys.
Yeah.
I want to have a duo album with Sibusiso Mashilwane, with Andintuli. I want to have Sisonke Konde and Rwanda Gugwana on my album. I want to one of the people that people don't give her flowers, and I always say this, and I always tweet about her. I always tell the world about her because she's a genius. Siyama Kuzeni. That woman is a genius, and she's one of those people for me. I would love to sing with her. We are good friends. I would love to sing with her on my album. Because she is just incredible. She's an amazing songwriter. She's an amazing vocalist. She's just an amazing musician. And she will hear this, definitely.
I hope she does. I really hope she does.
She will definitely hear this. So I do see myself recording a couple of albums. I have a project that every time when I come home, I always present it, and it's called Unsung Heroes. And it's about singing music from home, because people always think that when we talk about the jazz standards that we have at home, we only have Nkilo Nkilo and Lakuchonilang and Pata Pata. I'm like, oh, Malaika. And I'm like, no. We have so many songs at home. We have so much music at home. And my project is about singing those songs. My project is about writing lyrics to some of those songs. Like I've written like lyrics to Nduduzo's song, and Babu Pekim Seleko tune,
Mm.
you know. And I think, honestly, I honestly think that my first album will be Unsung Heroes, Volume 1.
Volume.
Yeah,
But,
Volume
but,
1.
but, but I think also on the back of all the experience you've garnered throughout, I really think an album from you will be very multi-layered, but also probably very
Yeah,
different to what we are currently exposed to. So that actually excites me.
yeah. Because because I'll tell you something, one of the greatest things that I'm currently experiencing is to travel the world.
Mm.
Because you travel the world, you get to see how the other world is living. You get to hear how the other world plays and present music. So for me, I go to concerts every time when I'm free, and I'll sit and listen and watch, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, this is the thing. This is how the world sees music. This is how the world reacts to this music. You know, 2 weeks ago, Nduduzo Makateni was here and performing with his band, and Jazz Cafe was packed because people were there to listen to Nduduzo, and I was in tears watching how the world was listening to Nduduzo's music, and I was like, oh my God, the world actually loves us.
Yeah.
The world actually loves our sound, you know. So it is coming. It will come. It will happen. I might not record with an all South African band,
Yeah.
you know, because I think the reason why I'm in the world is because of that.
Yeah.
Is inclusion, you know, involve other people from other worlds, and just to hear how they would interpret our music, you know. So it will happen. It will happen.
I actually, before we end it off, I think we do really take it for granted. I think more especially for us who are still at home, and we become very narrow-minded and
Yeah.
forget how big the world is and how much more there is to how much more people there are out. I see it with my website, for instance. I sometimes go through the states, and you go through the views and where they're coming from, and then that's when you get
Yeah.
to realize how big the
Yeah.
world is.
The world is big. The world is big, and how we do things at home, how we present music at home, is not like that in other places.
Mm.
You know, it's not like that in other places, and it is such a blessing to travel and see that and experience that and see people's reactions. You know, like, we are very expressive people. Ekai, you know, we clap, shout during the show,
Mm.
you know, but you come to London, man, people sit down and keep quiet till the end of the song, and they, you know, and you would, if you don't know, you would think, you would be offended. You'd say, oh,
Yeah.
people don't like my music. No, they do.
Yeah.
They have a different way of listening to music. You know, the whole entire theater will be quiet as if there's no one, but people are listening. People are enjoying the music. Yeah.
I think you guys, again, a big round of applause for you guys who actually do go out in the world and not only explore for yourself, but explore on our behalf as well, because you are then able
Yeah. Yeah.
to open this world up and the mind up for the rest of us.
Mm.
So
Mm.
honestly, Sandile, thank you so much. I'm glad we
Yeah.
finally got time to do this, and I'm really
I'm really glad to. Thank you so, man. Thank you for. I never take for granted. I never take platforms for granted.
Sure.
How big and how small they are. I never take that for granted.
Yeah.
To be able to still speak about who I am, what I do. It's a blessing and it's a privilege. And I'm grateful to you for giving me this platform to be able to talk about who I am and what I do. So thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I wish you all God's blessings, and I hope this grows, it becomes big. I really hope that God blesses you with everything that you need. I hope one day you will have a big studio and I'll come and for another interview. I
Definitely.
pray that all God's blessings happen for your life, man. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it.